hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson.
Control.
Everything you need to know about new and used cars.
Control.
Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air.
Control.
Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin.
Control.
Because you're on cruise control. Cruise control. Cruise control.
And hello, welcome everyone to Cruise Control. This is your on-air automotive magazine, and of course we are here, as we always are, to give you all the latest news in the auto industry. I'm Les Jackson, and that guy is Fred Staab. You know him well. And Fred, we have an interesting hour, starting with a very interesting and not in any way surprising story. In the we told you so category.
Yeah, it's a recall, Les. Okay.
A big one.
We talk about recalls, but Tesla announces a recall that could affect virtually every vehicle they have ever produced. And it's all about autopilot, isn't it?
I rest my case.
Wow. There you go.
Hey. Anyway, we'll get into that. And also, Shady Dealer Days. The FTC says the days of dirty deals at car dealerships will soon be over. Man, I hope that's true. Or will they?
Well,
I don't.
Well, it also comes under, hi, I'm here from the government and I'm here to help.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll kick that one around. Hopefully, I agree. Hopefully it will be a good step. And then we're going to talk about Infiniti's Q50. Les, that's a sedan there.
It's a nice car.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that and what's new in that, and we'll also have some pricing information on that vehicle. And it is the last run for the Chrysler 300, which is sad to see that go. But, the 300C was the last version of this. And we're going to take a look at it. And, it's the end of an era for that. Will there be another one? What do you think?
I imagine something maybe electric in the future. The 300 is a great old name, mark, logo, whatever.
Yeah. And the last one came off the line this week, so we'll tell you about that.
And Hagerty lists a bunch of classics that are set to soar in price. I had this discussion with a friend of mine this week. We restore collector cars, and what's going to be valuable next. What currently is valuable, it won't be valuable for very long, and it's hard to predict this stuff. Yeah.
We're also going to have an at-the-wheel review of the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid. Great vehicle. I had a chance to spend some time in that, and we'll tell you all about that. Big vehicle, but plug-in hybrid. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab and Les Jackson. We're just getting started, so keep it buckled up.
Why is it we know it? And
all right, welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. This is a story Les Jackson is very excited about, isn't it, Les? Well, we kind of thought this would happen, and it did. The other shoe has dropped. Tesla has to recall basically every vehicle it's made, probably with the exception of the early two-seat Lotus-based sports cars, right? Every car
didn't have this system.
Right. And that we're talking about autopilot, or as it's sometimes referred to, the full self-drive. But there's been a lot of accidents. NHTSA has investigated it, and the verdict is Tesla's driver assistance system does not do enough to prevent driver misuse, meaning like people sitting in the back seat, somebody eating their lunch,
Right.
someone reading a book, and that the cars have to be recalled. And it's going to affect over 2 million vehicles. That includes 2012 to 2023 Model S's, the 2017 to 2030, I guess this must be a misprint, 2017 to 2023 Model 3, the 2020 to 2023 Model Y, and the 2016 to 2023 Model X. And so, as I said, the only vehicle it doesn't involve it in it yet is the Cybertruck, because that's kind of not really out yet, and the two-seater that was originally launched, of the company originally launched with it. As a result, NHTSA believes the increases in the risk of a crash in certain circumstances when the auto steer is engaged and the driver does not maintain responsibility for the vehicle, the system is unprepared to intervene as necessary or fails to recognize when auto steer is canceled or not engaged. They're talking about intersections. So this will be an over-the-air update, Les Jackson.
Yep.
And basically what it's going to do is, if a driver or owner repeatedly ignores the prompts of the autopilot system, it will basically lock them out of it from using it. There have been many cases with Teslas colliding with emergency vehicles, hitting barriers, all kinds of things. And NHTSA has launched over 50 crash investigations into the Tesla autopilot-related incidents.
Yeah, I mean, this is a serious thing that we've talked about how many times.
Yeah.
And Tesla, Musk has continued to speak of autopilot as an autonomous system. They do not exist in the passenger fleet anywhere in the world yet.
Now, this follows a
So-
February bulletin in which Tesla recalled 360,000 vehicles equipped with the full self-driving beta. NHTSA claimed the software could cause the vehicle to act unsafe in intersections, resulting in serious crash risks. They also did an over-the-air fix for this, and the same thing will happen with this autopilot recall. So they'll be notified. Owners, if you own one of these vehicles, will be notified of the recall via mail by February 10th, 2023. So what happens? They just push the software to them. It's not like you have to go anywhere, but
yeah, but they have to start taking more responsibility for letting drivers know, look, you can't assume this thing is driving itself. You got to pay attention. You got to keep your hands near or on the wheel. This is a level 2 autonomous system. It's not a level 4 or 5.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know,
It's interesting. So what is the cost of this for Tesla? Well, they have to come up with the new software but other than that, it's not a big thing as far as they don't have to bring these cars back in and
I don't think it'll cost. I don't know what it costs to rewrite
write code.
the software.
Yeah.
But not much.
Yeah. But what do you think? Where does this all end? Do you think eventually they'll just disable it completely if this doesn't do the trick?
Well, if this doesn't, the way the government regulations work, if this doesn't solve the problem, if this continues at the rate it's going with these deaths and crashes, then the government can make them just turn it off.
All right, we're going to be right back with Cruise Control. Stay tuned.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Well, we're going to discuss something else.
By the way, I just want to say, I said,
oh yes,
that if you have one of those recall Teslas, you'll get a note in the mail by February 10th, 2024. February 10th, 2023 is long gone. So February 10th, 2024. But
right.
Sorry, Les, jump into your story about the shady deals.
Well, I think everybody who's ever bought a car probably has a bad story about dealing with the dealer.
You feel worked over. You feel worked over.
There are lots of good dealers out there, but the fact is, it's a difficult situation. So many things dealers do, among which are unnecessary fees, unnecessary rules, like you have to get your car serviced here, which is nonsense. Just things that extract, as the government says, $3.4 billion of your money every year. So this is stupid. So the new rule, it's the CARS rule, combating auto retail scams. I like that.
Yeah.
It will prohibit junk fees, like here in Northern Virginia, the processing fee of $900. Don't pay that.
Because you have to use a pen? Is that who's got a pen?
It's about $100 to the dealer to handle your license and tags and all that stuff. Don't.
And remember, they're going there to pick up the tags, and they're picking up tags for many cars at one time. It's not like they're making an individual trip for you.
Yeah. So.
And so what if they are? I mean, what do you got? It's not like you've got to drive like for 10 hours.
Exactly.
And they get a special line to go in there that they can.
They do.
Yeah. So.
They do.
So, anyway, now when this law is actually passed and it's going to be implemented in July 30th of 2024. Carvana, head of Carvana, chief brand officer, told Reuters that the company supports efforts to introduce more transparency across the industry to help customers and consumers make informed decisions on their own terms. That's a different way of buying a car, but the National Automotive Dealers Association said it's heavy-handed bureaucratic overreach and redundancy, and he added it will lengthen the car buying process by forcing new layers of disclosures and complexity into the transaction.
Yeah, that's, by the way, that means, I know Mike Stanton, their CEO. That phrase means we're going to have to tell you the truth, and actually you'll have to read it because you'll have to initial it.
Yeah, you'll have to initial it like a legal.
That's the extra layer of disclosure.
Well, what are some of these charge-ons? Like one of the things they said is that dealers were predatory on veterans and people, not veterans, people in active military, which is interesting. Service members, predatory practices that target men and women in uniform. I'm not even sure why they would single them out. If you're going to single out any group, what does that mean? I don't know how they're predatory on that. The article doesn't go into it.
I guess it's because generally they don't have as much money to put into them, and they kind of prey on their credit ratings, and um, uh, that's really disappointing if you think about it. Just
Yeah.
a dealer that's saying, "Oh, we support our troops." Well, no, you don't.
Yeah, they put the sticker on the window. That's where it ends, you know?
Yeah,
Um, and then add-ons. Like you talk about add-on fees. Um,
Mm.
a friend just bought a car and they told him he wanted it in a certain color. Oh, I have to get that from another dealer. So that's going to be $900. Is that
Yeah.
a fee you should pay? That's not my fault you don't have the right car on the lot, you know?
That's right. Now, if the car is from another dealer 1,000 miles away, well, maybe he can justify charging the shipping money
But
to
he's
get it.
probably not going to
But
tell you it could be 3 miles away, you know?
it could just be another dealer in your city.
Yeah. So
Um, so you just have to ask, well, where is it? I'll go get it myself.
oh, we can't do that.
Well, then take that charge away. And it's also for this stuff like fabric protection and paint protection,
Yeah,
and
you don't need any of
come
that.
on. These things cost the dealer pennies. Well,
Right. Fabric
tens of dollars.
fabric protection, you could buy the can of spray for $6.
It's Scotch Guard. It's
Yeah.
3M Scotch Guard. Trust me, I
Si-
know this.
Yeah, so it's the worst used to be, remember the rust protection where they would drill holes into the new car?
Yeah, and there are still dealers who offer rust protection, which voids the factory rust through warranty.
Because you're drilling holes in a brand new car.
Yeah, it's despicable.
You know what
They
used
do
to
it.
drive me
Some do.
crazy? And I still, to this day, when I buy a new car, I just say, I don't want any stickers. I don't want any plaques or
Yeah.
plates, or I'm not advertising for you, you know? And they used to actually drill holes into the cars
They did. They used to
to
put chrome, you know,
nameplates.
Fox Motors or whatever.
Yeah, with screws.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
You know, there's one dealer around here. Yeah, he has a nice stick-on thing, but I don't want that on my car. I don't like stuff stuck on it.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not going to advertise for you.
Right. If you have to give me one, you just throw it in the glove box loose with the the paper on the back. You know, I'll stick it on my toolbox. How's that? And I mean,
Otherwise, if you deliver it with that on there, I'm going into your shop. I'm grabbing the heat gun and I'm going to heat it and peel it off and stick it on your face. That's,
on your forehead. At least you'll remember where you work.
yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I think of the other thing. The other thing, I think some of this stuff is not even legal. Do you ever see the quick flashing stoplights on cars?
Oh, yeah. Yes. I'm glad you bring that up.
They
Yes,
pay
they're
a
not
monthly fee to have that. It's not even like, oh, here's a little box and it's $200. They pay a monthly fee, like a subscription, to have that on their car.
Yeah, because
Some dealers.
Formula One cars have that.
That's right, because your Toyota Corolla needs that. You know, I don't know. It's they are completely out of date. These dealers, they really are. Just come in. I don't want all that crap. You're not adding value. Matter of fact, you're mucking around with a brand new car that doesn't need to be mucked around with. Like I even seen like they would wash them with a brush. I mean, what the heck? Just don't do anything to it. Don't even take the plastic off of it. I'll do it. I'll do it. What used to drive me crazy, they would come with plastic over the rugs and the thresholds. They would just pull the plastic out and leave little bits of the plastic under the thresholds. Remember when they were metal thresholds that had like 4 screws? That's like sloppy work. You got to take the threshold off get all that junk out. And then, I always thought that was like sloppy work. That's what I used to think as a kid. Don't you think?
Absolutely. And they're charging you for it
Right.
to prep the car. That's part of their contract with the manufacturer.
Yeah.
They're compensated for prepping the cars.
Well, put it in the comments if you ever had bad dealer service and what kinds of things they tried to get you to pay for. Ashtray cleaning service or something like that. So let us know on our Facebook page or Cruise Control YouTube page. Let us know what they tried to charge you for. We'll be right back with more Cruise Control.
Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's Fred Staab and none other than Les Jackson. Tell us about your fun add-ons, what they tried to make you pay for when you bought a new vehicle. Put it in our Cruise Control Radio Facebook page, write a comment, or in our YouTube page. So let's jump over to some pricing information on the Infiniti Q50. Starting at $43,050. It's for the discerning sedan driver, all three of them. And it is, this one comes in the Red Sport 400 grade. It arrives in showrooms this month. The starting price, $43,050. Nice looking sedan. It has a generous level of standard equipment, as they say. 18-inch aluminum alloy wheels, leather appointed seats, heated front seats, heated steering wheel, wireless Apple CarPlay, and USB-based Android Auto. Isn't that weird? They don't have the wireless.
That's interesting.
I know. Yeah. I don't understand that. It's got to be a licensing thing.
Well, I bet it connects easier.
If you have
more reliably.
If you have a good cable. Although, as I said, the wireless stuff has done well. What you see pictured is the Q50 Red Sport 400. That starts at $56,900. That's got a 3-liter VR Series twin-turbo V6 engine, which sounds tasty. 400 maximum horsepower versus 300 for the standard engine. And torque 350 versus 295. Uprated brakes with 4-piston front and 2-piston rear calipers, 19-inch aluminum hoops, and dynamic digital suspension, which constantly adjusts the shock absorber valves with a wide range of damping. And the Red Sport is once again offered in a black opal edition. That begs the question. It's called the Red Sport, but it's offered in a black opal edition. Color-changing black opal metallic paint inspired by the naturally occurring black opal, plus black exterior badges and a carbon fiber rear spoiler, Les Jackson. That costs $2,200. I love how it's called the Red Sport, but it's available in black opal.
Yeah. It's a cool car. I've always liked Infinitis.
Yeah, and that's quite a nice
interiors.
3-liter V6 twin turbo, 400 horsepower. I bet that's a fun
quick
car to drive. $56,900 for that one, but you can get it for $43,050 to start. Don't talk about Infiniti a lot on this, so it's good to talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about some history, Les Jackson, and it is the last hurrah for the Chrysler 300. Remember when this came in, they called it the gangster car, and Ralph Gilles designed it, and we had him on the show. Well, it is going away. The last one came off the assembly line this week, and it begs the question: what is next for Chrysler? Because that the original one, they called it the Beautiful Beast. The original 300C.
Yeah, the 300 series was always the powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
They were big. They were comfortable.
Yep.
A lot of them here in Washington years ago were made into cabs.
Wow.
In the days when you could drive anything as a cab driver.
I remember coming down to visiting you, and a guy had a 1968 station wagon. He was
Dodge Polara, 1959. Yeah.
Yeah. The last one was a 300C with a 6.4 liter Hemi engine, 485 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, and a top speed of 160. I remember going on the launch of one version of the 300 and thinking, hey, this is just a good standard rear drive.
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
Sedan with, I drove the V6 and the Hemi version. They were both fun to drive, and this is definitely a future collectible, don't you think?
Absolutely. I've always liked the 300. I always thought it was, it was like a Crown Victoria or a big Impala.
Mm-hmm.
Just great transportation.
Yeah, great transportation and quite a lineage. So Chrysler is going to soldier on in the 2024 model year with just the Pacifica, and it will get its first EV model, a two-row electric crossover, in 2025, in the 2025 model year. Meanwhile, the 300 nameplate will move to using an all-electric powertrain, which dealers got a preview of in April. Wow. So, end of an era. But a good run for that vehicle. And it certainly, I think, shook up the design world. And Ralph Gilles was the guy who did it. Really interesting vehicle, and it had a great run. So last one off the line. Talking about classics, let's take a look at some of the vehicles that Hagerty, the insurance folks, have, and they want to talk about future classics. Any thoughts on what you think might be a future classic before we get into it?
I was looking through these early this morning actually, and I'm not terribly sure I agree with too many. I do believe the Jaguar XKR will be.
Okay.
Right now they're cheap. You could
get
them really cheap.
Would you buy a Jaguar XKR?
I know two people who have,
and
both have said that was a terrible thing to buy. I couldn't wait to get rid of it
because they had issues when they were new, right?
They did transmission, some electrical stuff, but by now it's been fixed.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about some of the others on the list? They're talking about the big Chevys, Impalas, and that.
I don't think so. I just maybe they will, but I don't think there are enough people that they'll appeal to. Certainly the BMW M3s.
Yeah, I remember driving that vehicle on a track and thinking, wow, that was the first time using paddle shifters in anger at an event. And right. I thought, well, this is pretty good. So I think that's a likelihood. I think some of the things that might go are some of the Bronco Raptors and things like that.
They certainly are. Now the Lamborghini Countach,
mm-hmm.
I've always believed that was going to be a super collectible.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking about a month ago, the old Plymouth Prowler.
Yeah.
You never, ever see them on the road.
I remember the first time I saw one.
Yeah, that's going to be a big deal. And when I had one to drive, to test, I mean, my gosh, I couldn't drive past a high school without kids that they were out on, lunch break or something, running across the street and stopping me.
Yeah. Did they say, did you build this hot rod yourself?
No, they all seem to know what it was.
Yeah. My first one I saw was in New York City. I saw it coming right down the street at me, and it was Montel Williams driving it, that talk show host.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, who's that? Oh, who's that? Oh, it's Montel Williams. I thought, well, that's a cool car and a cool guy to see. And so, yeah, I think absolutely. It wasn't a big powerhouse, but
not at all. It was all aluminum car, all aluminum engine, 250 horsepower at the most.
Mm-hmm.
But very cool looking. And interesting, the 64 to 66 Ford Thunderbirds, which never had much value, but they had a great interior, just a beautiful interior. And now they're catching on. That's interesting.
This is an obvious one. Ferrari FF, shooting brake design, 4-seat layout, all-wheel grip. I'd like to have one of them. Sounds cool. But hey, we'll have to talk to Hagerty in the new year and get them on to talk about some more of these cool cars coming up. But I'll tell you what's coming up. We're going to have an at-the-wheel review of the 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Plug-in Hybrid. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Cruise Control is the show you've dialed into. And we have another at-the-wheel review this week, something very interesting. This is a top safety pick for 2023, and this is actually the 2024 model. This is the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid. It is a large SUV, and it is a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid. It gets almost 40 miles of all-electric range when you charge up the battery, and then, of course, it transitions into the hybrid mode. I had spent a week with this vehicle, and I loved the color of this vehicle, that kind of tinted clear coat red diamond, they call it, with the black roof separated by the chrome. On the inside, the interior was very upscale. Leather all the way around with that unique stitching and sort of the tannish type color and some of the tan accents for the armrests and the dashboard. A lot of padded surfaces, a lot of high-end finishes like the actual metal on the center console. So pretty impressive. Got the stand-up infotainment system. A little bit about that in the next couple of minutes. That detail goes on the door panels. It had built-in navigation and Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Great view for overhead view for parking, which was really helpful. It's a large vehicle, Les, but I tell you, with the hybrid drivetrain system, it is pretty perky. I always like that they include a day-night button for the display, had these two reels that kept moving back and forth. They almost looked like the lens of a camera. Also, it had the one-pedal driving option, which was really, the regen was really heavy duty on that. So a couple of different modes for EV. It could charge the battery while you're driving along, and that worked well, but it did burn a fair amount of gas to drive and charge the battery at the same time. Out back, plenty of room for passengers. Good headroom in the back. The stitching carries over. You get rear heated seats and a couple of air conditioning vents and control for your AC. Notice they do a little blue kind of piping around the floor mats to kind of highlight that it is a hybrid. And we appreciated the rear heated seats. That was real nice to see, and the temperature control. One thing we didn't like, we did like how the seats fold almost flat, although you do have to use a strap and latch two-step procedure. Problem is the hinges are kind of old school, and they're visible, and they can be a little bit uncomfortable when sitting back there. So overall, though, nice job on the interior, nice high-end finishes, a lot of padded leather. We like that a lot, and kind of a nice cabin to spend time in. Out back, real nice storage. Plenty of room for all of your stuff. They have the plug-in charger there, cable, and nice feature, 1500-watt inverter in the back. So if you want to plug in an a refrigerator, it's right there. No spare, just the inflator kit. So you'll have to think about that. Up front, hybrid drivetrain. It's got a 20 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion drive battery and 120 volt charging cable, 2.4 liter 4-cylinder, and twin electric motors, front single-speed drive mode switchable reduction gearbox, and rear single-speed fixed reduction gearbox out back. You charge the vehicle behind this flap. You can also do high-speed charging and get an 80% charge with DC charger in limited time. So that's great. A lot of plug-in hybrids don't offer that. They just offer the 120-volt charging. So nice to see that Mitsubishi included that. Red diamond paint really makes it stand out. Great styling up front. Big vehicle, high shoulders. It feels big, as I said, when you drive it, but it drives like a much smaller car. Very, very good acceleration on this, and noticeable difference between this and the Outlander, the standard non-hybrid Outlander. So let's talk about some of the numbers. It gets 64 miles per gallon E when you factor in the electricity and gasoline. The gasoline-only mileage is about average, 26 miles to the gallon, or about 3.8 gallons per 100 miles. They estimate you'll save $2,250 in fuel costs over 5 years compared to the average new vehicle in this category. Final assembly point is Okazaki, Japan, and the engine comes from Japan, and the transmission comes from Japan. So 95% parts from Japan. 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, limited powertrain warranty. 5-year, 60,000-mile new vehicle limited warranty. Should note, too, for 2024, they're going to give you 2 years of maintenance, which is a nice perk to get that. 2 years limited maintenance including, and as I said, that includes the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. This is the best-selling plug-in hybrid electric SUV, and I believe it was the first one in the U.S. So a lot of good history there. Okay, so let's talk about the price on this vehicle. MSRP is $46,295. Total additional equipment options $4,095, and that includes a welcome package with touch-up paint. That's interesting that they include that. Subtotal $50,390. You add in destination $1,445. Total as tested price $51,835. Big vehicle, decent mileage. for a big vehicle. Love the two-tone. So what didn't I love? Well, I'm not a big fan of those spinning dials on the display. I found them a little bit distracting to get used to. The other thing on the one pedal mode, when you push that, the regeneration is it will throw you through the windshield. It's a little bit heavy duty. There's probably a way to change that up, but I did not find it during my test. I do like one pedal driving. The built-in navigation system I did not like. I found it to be slow and had trouble finding things, and the voice recognition was not the best. So I would go with the Android Auto or Apple CarPlay on this. I did like the parking camera, although I wish when you're parking in a spot, it not only worked in reverse, but would work at slow speed when you're moving forward, so you can make sure you're lined up in a parking position, because I always had to throw it into reverse. But overall, great vehicle. If you want to jump into a plug-in hybrid, this is one to look at. It's been around for a while. The charging port is on the passenger side in the back behind a flap, and the gas fill is in the back on the driver's side behind a flap. So kind of neatly done, matching on either side. I would say they need a little bit of work on the built-in navigation system. I would shy away from that and use the Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. I'd love to see if there's a way to make the regenerative brakes when you're in the one pedal mode less aggressive. Because at first that was on less, and I was like, why is it driving this way? It is really aggressive. I like that you can charge the battery too as you go.
Yeah, it's got to be a way.
But when you did that, you burned a lot of gas because you were charging the battery and also driving the vehicle around. But a good thing to have. Hey, that is the 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid. So we hope you've enjoyed that At the Wheel review. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road. Take care.